So another Dizzy and the Champ uh,
Hey,
competition and
come in there
battle.
closer, will you?
Sure, sure. And
There you
I'm
go.
trying to. I went through my unheard collection here a little bit, and I'm trying to get some records that I don't know much about. Some I do, but some of these I just kind of looking for Dizzy's
I gotta
reaction.
say something about unheard of records because I used to buy at garage sales, estate sales. I used to have people sometimes that they lost a loved one and they said, we're going to throw these records away. Would you be interested? And I say, would I ever? Would I ever? So it didn't take too long before I was overwhelmed in records, and so I think that's not uncommon out there in the vinyl community with all of us. And then if we get too many records, and then a record, we kind of forget what is that record all about, or who was on that record. Yeah.
Right. Well, and a lot of the ones that when I get a collection of records, I will pull the ones that I'm most interested in. Right. But then you have those other records that are sitting back there.
And those are usually the big names, but all the people that may have been a fabulous record were waiting.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know when that day's going to come.
So here's one right off the bat I know nothing about, and I'm hoping.
Well, until I see the front of it, I won't know either.
All right. Well, this one's in pretty beat up shape. It's Archie Whitewater.
Holy smokes, that's out of the backwater for sure.
That sounds like he knows nothing.
Give me the title.
Recorded at Apostle Studios, New York, March 1970.
That's in my era.
So let's see. Don't Be Short, North Star, Mist of the Early Morning, Life is a River, Friends and Neighbors, Country to the City. Personnel, Travis Jenkins.
Here's the thing. This is exactly the type of record I was talking about and that you were talking about. This is a record that somebody bought and had in their collection. We didn't buy this record because we intended to get it. We bought a collection, and this was in the collection, and this may turn out to be a very good record, and we love it, and I congratulate you for buying and to have records like this because it's fun. It's really fun.
It is fun. You drop the needle on, and what's going to come out?
Right.
Right.
This only playing music that you know.
Right.
Where's the sense of discovery on that?
Yeah. So this.
I like the sense of discovery with music.
Yeah. This has tenor Travis Jenkins tenor, flute, and vocals.
Well, right there we know he's got something we like. We like horn instruments.
Yeah, Sam Burstis, trombone.
Oh, God.
Lynn Sheffield, alto and vibes. Another vibe player, a keyboard.
Champ,
vocals.
This is going on your record player, admit it. Real soon.
Definitely want to check it out.
This is going on
and the cover is,
player.
that is just weird. What's going on? Something's coming out of this guy's head. A whole band's coming out of the guy's head. I mean, it's very funky.
I want to give you a tip off that this was bought in the collection. The Champ does not buy records that have record damage in the back.
Wow.
Okay? That's an abused record.
Well, maybe a little.
And you know what? We're offended by that. If you deliberately allowed a record to get that bad a shape, because we put them in plastics, we put them in record cabinets, we move and we put them in boxes and ship them and pay for all storage fees and everything else. We're not going to let this stuff happen.
Yeah. Well, if we can, right? That's the whole idea. You try to avoid that kind of thing. Okay, I don't know much about Charles Kennard. He was on Prestige, Reelin' with the Feelin', Soul Reggae, Slow Burn, Boogalooin'.
Now, being on Prestige makes this record valuable because any Prestige record,
I have a feeling he doesn't know anything about it.
Right, is resaleable. Because that's the original jazz label for me.
And this has got Charles Kennard on organ, Wilton Felder on tenor sax, Joe Pass on guitar, Carol Kay on Fender bass.
Ooh, out of the Wrecking Crew.
Paul Humphrey on drums. So, and they mentioned Dizzy, but it's a different Dizzy. A variant of Dizzy's
Guys
Blue
stealing
and
my
Boogie.
name again, huh?
and features strong work from each of the soloists. Um,
So Kincaid was a jazz organist out of Kansas City, and he
oh,
was originally on Pacific Jazz.
oh yeah, not
He
good.
had
Very good.
2 records on Pacific Jazz, and what do we got here? This is "Reeling
Reeling
with
with
the
the Feeling.
Feeling." Oh
Reeling with the
boy, he
Feeling.
did a lot and on Prestige. He "Reeling with the Feeling." Okay, that's the second one in 1969, and "Reeling with the Feeling."
Well, that's okay, Dizzy. We can all look it up. It's okay. But we're just trying to go through some of these records and look at them and see what we have here. This one's called Soul Sauce. It says demonstration not for sale. Obviously pre-chewed, but it's got Tina Charles, Ebony Ivory and Jade, Herbie Hancock, Ramsey Lewis, Joe Lucene, Taj Mahal, Manhattan's, Phillies Devotions, Tony Williams. So I think that it says Columbia Records Fall 1975. I believe it's a compilation record of
Oh,
all
it
these
is
different artists.
definitely. Um, here's what I'd say about it is that this Herbie Hancock, Ramsey Lewis, Taj Mahal, Manhattan's, Tony Williams, the Tina Charles. I'm not even sure what instrument she plays or what. And that
Well,
may be
it's
on
like
me.
a lot of these compilation and promotion records. You get different things. This is a white label promotion record. So I'll have to listen to it. Again, I'm hoping to get a little more information out of Dizzy, but sometimes he doesn't have it. Right? It just is not.
Great, but that's a worthy record.
Okay, next up is the Wailers and Company. Yeah. So on side one is Seattle Hokey, Louie Louie, doing the seaside, Shoe Fly Pie, we're going surfing, Frenzy on side two, and Shakedown, Party Time USA, Tough Walk, Isabella, and Mashy, or Mash High, I don't know. The Wailers and Company out. The Wailers, I do think they were out of Seattle.
No.
Nope. Wrong.
Let's. There was a Tacoma sound. A San Francisco sound, San Francisco vintage music and all that. Wailers came out of Tacoma, and always were a Tacoma band, and they were at the same time with the Sonics, the Viceroys, and the Fleetwoods, and more or less all were on the same label down there. Was it Delight or
Etiquette?
Etiquette? There you go. Thank you, champ. Thank you. Saved me again.
Well,
Man always has it when I need it. Anyway, Etiquette Records. Yes, there it is on Etiquette. Sonics were on Etiquette. And the Wailers were a very talented band. You know what's amazing, champ? Is that this was an all-instrumental band. I saw them perform many times. There was never any singing. It was like hearing the Ventures. And the Ventures, hey, were on the same label. Etiquette, I believe.
Well,
No, they went to Duolite. Duolite. Doolite. Duolite, I believe.
yeah, I think
Yeah. Anyway, they were a Tacoma band too, and at the same time, and the Wailers never had international fame where the Ventures were big in Japan, but that is the history of Tacoma, Washington's bands, because there was Little Ed and the Blue Notes that came out at the same time, and there was really a record industry, and you and I have done a lot in Tacoma, and we know it's hard to believe that there was ever, in San Francisco, there was ballrooms, clubs, concert venues, so much places for people to play music and be paid for it and to make a living. Where Tacoma, that's hard to believe ever that could have been done. But these people, they made it out of Tacoma. and it was on Tacoma record labels. And there's no Tacoma record labels remaining. They're all gone. They're all gone. But Kent Morrell was in this band, and he later went and had a Las Vegas show where he would do a tribute as and dress as Roy Orbison with the sunglasses and all that. And he could sing those songs where you hardly could tell the difference between him and Roy Orbison. That's how good he was.
But it's nice to look through these because, like, I'm looking at this one, and this is not the actual proper record in here. It is the Wailers, but it's the Wailers at the Castle. So it's a different cover than, or different record.
But then again, at the Castle was a famous DJ who owned, he was in KJR.
Pat O'Day. I don't know if he owned it, but
he owned it. Oh, he owned it. He
booked,
definitely owned it. And he later had concerts west, I believe, in Seattle, and he would book the largest venues, and he'd have the Who and all the big bands would, he produced those shows. And so, at any rate, these Wailer albums are in the Sonics. They have their fans, and this is kind of the earliest, I would say, that are garage bands. They didn't waste a lot of time with production.
Yeah,
they went in, cut a record, and that was it.
Yeah, there you go.
And I like that. I do.
Okay, and then next up we have a little jazz. This is just kind of picking things all over the place.
Well, you know what's nice about Shelly Man is he had Shelly Man's Manhole in L.A. So he could play as a house band. He could bring in other bands, and for instance, if a band member from another band wanted to come, he could back them up, and he could make them the headliner, and he could be the band. And he did a lot of side work for other major groups, and he would join trios, quartets, quintets, and a fabulous. He's a drummer, and he had at his time Shelly Manne, along with Max Roach, Art Blakey. He'd be in running every year as Downbeat's Drummer of the Year. He's fabulous, and he only played with top side men, top.
So he knocked Buddy Rich off the stand, huh?
Well, he's not. Wait a minute now, Buddy Rich is like really showbiz type drumming. I mean, he's top of the class, and he's going to show you that.
Right.
This is a man who knew his place and said, "This is group. This is a team. This is we all blend together."
I'm gonna use the brushes.
Yeah, that's right, man. Yeah, no, it's right.
I'd like to see more drummers know when to use the brushes and not
and they both can exist and be in happy campers. It's good, no problem.
Okay, next up, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Now, this is not an album I remember.
Well, here's the thing: Blood, Sweat, and Tears broke up before its first album even came on the market. Oh. Al Cooper was the man who put the whole thing together. And
wasn't Bobby Colombo?
Oh no, Al Cooper. He produced it. You look at who wrote the material on the first album. Al Cooper's all over that thing.
Okay.
But the thing is, but they broke up so fast, and here's the dead giveaway. It shows Blood, Sweat, and Tears as four guys. None of these guys.
Well, I think they're all part of the. I think we have four different guys on the front versus what's on the back. So it's a group of
you're
eight.
right. You're right.
Eight.
You're right. You're right.
And
clever.
So
But I don't think we have anything other about. There's nothing broken down here that tells us who these people are.
Yeah, well, we got writers. We got B. Cassidy, and we got David Clayton Thomas.
Well, David Clayton Thomas never wrote anything that anybody wanted to hear.
Well, I don't know. They did a ton. They had a spinning wheel.
Did he write that?
I don't know if he wrote it. I'm just saying they had lots of hits.
Well, maybe he
lots
did.
and lots of hits.
Maybe
And
he
there's I got like
Yeah, but that's all off the first album.
I have 8 records of theirs. So they have a lot of music and a lot of great material. This is obviously a later record, and it does actually come in with it. Now I look deep into it. There is a little more information.
Well, I know the original members. Read them to me.
Okay, David Clayton Thomas.
Yeah.
Robert Pilch, Bruce Cassidy, Richard Martinez, Bobby Ecom. I'm gonna mess up that name. Sorry. David Plitch, same last name as Robert, so they must be brothers. And Earl Seymour, and Vernon Dorge.
Okay.
Alto sax.
Okay. This is virtually none of the originals.
Well, David Clayton was in.
Yeah. Okay. He's the vocalist, but the heart of this band is for us the horn section,
Right.
and I just feel that all that and the guitars and the guitarist fell away as well, and there's bands that when you look them up, say on Wikipedia, and you look at past band members of a band like this, because this band is still out there playing.
Yeah, with no members.
Oh, yeah, and you look at it, and it might sometimes. I remember looking up like Paul Revere and the Raiders and Chicago and bands like that, and sometimes they have had 60 past band members that have been in the band.
Right.
And so it's a little hard for me to. What am I evaluating here? Mm-hmm. I started loving you on your first album, but you're a totally different band by the 8th album, and when you do your 16th album, there's no.
You don't recognize you at all.
It's like, so what am I talking about? You're making it very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, with all musicians and all bands, they're always trying to make a new sound, a new. They always have some producer that's saying, we want something like what you did.
Well, they're probably trying to go where the market is.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, but this is definitely a later one. I mean, this Nuclear Blues and the cover is just so out there.
Older men, bare chested.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
There's a guy there who looks like Grandpa Moses, bare, like, hey, look at this.
And they're cartooned. Designed a little bit, but next up we have a Barry McGuire record.
Is this live by chance?
Oh well, they got a shot of it where they're performing live, but I think it's just called Seeds. Jim Gordon on drums.
Jim Gordon tells us one thing.
Chuck Finley down.
Jim Gordon was the master rock drummer.
Yeah.
Who tragically.
Killed his mother.
And then went to prison and died recently in prison. But while he was performing, he was one of the best rock drummers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who else? What are we going?
Bass Joe Osborne. Keyboards Mike O'Martin.
No.
Larry Ketchell.
Well, there you go. That's a name.
Yeah, that is a name.
There you go.
Guitars Mike Desi, Ben Benet, and Dean Parks.
No.
Voices, second chapter of Axe. Saxes, Jim Horn, Don Menza.
Well, Jim Horn, from his jazz recordings at the Taj Mahal and all, and so we know that they. Well, this is a kind of what Barry McGuire did here. Apparently, is he brought himself from the best musicians he could get on his record. And the producer, and so we would expect good things. I've never, I don't know about you, but Barry McGuire is, to me, I'm just realizing this, maybe an acquired taste for Dizzy.
Well, he had the big hit, right? The San Francisco, bring flowers in your hair, or
No, no, no,
that's.
no.
Do I have that wrong?
You sure do.
Oh, well, what did he have? He had something.
No, Eve of Destruction.
Eve of Destruction. Yes, we're on the eve of destruction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, who had the other one? I'm just curious. Do you know? That was another one-hit wonder, though, right? I mean,
That was.
okay.
Yeah, it was.
Oh well, sorry, we don't know that right now. But yeah, eve of destruction. We're all on the eve of destruction. But he's got more of a rock and jazz backing, horn band here. So this will be interesting to me to listen to at some point.
Okay,
as I don't. It's
So
not, he's not
again,
somebody
we go back to where we started, which is these records have one thing in common: the discovery of, and the excitement of that discovery. It could be really, really great, and you go, "Oh, I'm so glad I bought that record and took a chance."
Well, and like you say, a lot of times we aren't buying it. It's just something that came.
Yeah,
to us,
you're right. Right.
And we're like,
you got nothing to lose in the
nothing
first
to lose
place.
in the first place. But we're like,
This is
what is this?
It's a win-win situation,
Yeah.
and Dizzy likes situations that are win-win. How about you? You want to go there?
Win-win's
Go
always
there?
good. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Wouldn't you
We're
like
not really
to go to a
going out
casino
on a limb on
that
that.
says win? You just win. That's all there is. There's no
Cool.
losing.
Well, thanks, champ. I appreciate the opportunity to
To discover talk
talk
about
a
some
lot of
new
stuff
instruments.
here.
Yeah, new bands and new or old bands with maybe a new perspective.
maybe we're encouraging people to go out there and discover some records
Yeah.
that they're thumbing their nose at. But if you get them at a right price and
Right.
they're part of some stuff that you do want, go for it.
Check the back. Read the personnel.
Yeah,
See who's on there.
there's clues there.
There are clues there.
If it's got a horn section, whoa,
might be something. We might have the new Funkadelic.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the end of that episode, and we'll catch you next time.